This is Castform, but this is Super Castform. What's the difference? Well, while regular Castform has 3 forms, Super Castform has 20. Because not only did we redesign its original form, but we also gave it a new form for all 4 terrains. The Sandstorm variant it should have had from the beginning. Invented a brand new cosmic-based weather form, and then we gave all its forms new upgraded super weather forms to make it even crazier. And it all starts once Super Castform enters a battle while it's snowing, causing it to transform into its snowy form, which not only brings with it a new design that alters the rainbow goggles seen on Super Castform into snow goggles, but just like all the other variations in this video, it also has a new form of weather ball called Super Weather Ball, a move that changes types to match the weather it's used in as always, but now with an added secondary effect. As if used in the snow, it will increase the user's defense by 1 stage. And while being in the snow makes Castform change once, staying in the snow for 3 turns will alter its body so much it becomes its super snow form. Now, having manipulated the snow around it to form a giant snowman golem, this Pokemon now has stats on par with some legendary, sporting a super high defense stat, which when paired with some weather ball boost and the natural defense boost snow gives to ice types, will make this form nearly indestructible. However, if Super Castform finds itself in the harsh sun, it will transform into its sunny form, which sees its goggles turn into a pair of shades that would make the Squirtle Squad proud, and whose body allows it to absorb heat from the sun directly, powering its pyro-based attacks, which now fire with a burst of bright light, giving it a new form of Super Weather Ball that states that foes hit with the move will receive a 1-stage decrease to their accuracy, as they'll struggle to hit Castform the more damage its bright lights do to their eyes. And if you think that's overpowered, staying in the sun for 3 turns will give you its super weather form, which is even crazier, because its helio disc-shaped body lets it absorb even more solar rays, allowing it to have a special attack stat that would make even the likes of Charizard shudder. It's a Pokemon that doesn't even exist, but already needs a nerf. Bring out Super Castform in the rain, and you'll get its new rainy form, which has scuba goggles on and a body that more closely resembles a falling droplet of water. And just like a falling drop of rain, this Pokemon is surprisingly quick, but very fragile, especially when it runs into anything physical. And this is reflected in the Pokemon itself, because just like all the other forms of Castform, it's very physically weak, but its form of Super Weather Ball gives it a 1-stage boost to its speed stat every time it's used. But that's nothing compared to its Super Weather form, which is now a constant downpour of Castform, as its giant cloud now spawns and drops versions of the Pokemon at such a rapid-fire pace that no foe can hope to dodge all of them. And if you battle in a sandstorm, you'll get the first of its brand new forms, its Sandy form, a swirling collection of sand wearing bug-eyed biker eye gear. This Pokemon spins at such a rapid pace that it's incredibly difficult to hit with projectiles. And this is reflected in its Super Weather Ball, which boosts the user's special defense after use, which combined with the special defense boost you already receive from Sandstorm thanks to being a rock type, will make this form very survivable, giving it a great chance to enter its Super Weather form. Now surrounded by a giant tornado of rapidly spiraling debris, Castform is nearly impossible to strike, as most attacks will get whipped away out of the air before they can even get close. But for Castform's next variation, we're going to make a brand new weather. As you probably know, I've been working on a fan-made Pokemon game that features the Cosmic type, and a brand new weather that supports this type would be super cool, and this is a great way to introduce it. I'm calling it a Pocket Galaxy, and it has 3 really interesting effects. First of all, it causes all Pokemon to float as if they had levitate to represent space's lack of gravity. And it also gives a 50% increase in damage to Cosmic type moves, and a 50% damage reduction to Flying type moves. It's an interesting new mechanic that only gets more interesting when Super Castform enters the Pocket Galaxy, as it becomes its Spacey form, a cosmic cloud that wears an astronaut's helmet, which allows it to master this new zero-gravity environment, giving it a variation of Weather Ball that's guaranteed to crit against opponents who are airborne, whether it's from levitation or from being a flying type. And if it stays in this zero-gravity zone for 3 turns, it becomes its Super Weather form. Now, based on a planet model, this form is just as varied as the endless landscape of the Final Frontier, giving it very balanced stats, which makes it super versatile. But Super Castform doesn't just change from weather, as the change in environment done by the 4 terrains is also more than enough to give it new alterations, as it's sent out in a grass grassy terrain, it'll enter its grassy form, whose goggles have become gardening goggles, and its body is now based off a puff of pollen. It's actually the health restoring effect of the grassy terrain that's been combined with its weather ball, as it now has life steal, restoring 50% of the damage dealt back to the user, giving it enough sustainability to last for enough turns and create its super weather form, who's now a giant gust of pure pollen, who's primed and ready to obliterate any Pokemon with allergies. Super Castform entering a misty terrain will make its misty form, a shimmering fog that can become almost completely translucent, giving opponents a lot of trouble even finding it in the first place, much less attacking, which is built into its weather ball that raises the user's evasion after use, which if you're lucky enough will let you dodge your way to its super weather form, which has now crafted an entire fake body out of pure mist, causing opponents to attack what they think are weak points, only to get a face full of fairy dust. And if it finds itself in an electric terrain, you'll get its Shocky form. Now wearing sharp, expressive glasses that are shaped like a lightning bolt and inspired by the ones Kamina wears, this Pokemon is able to launch cracking bolts of lightning so shocking they might cause the opponent to jolt from just the sound, giving it a weather ball with a 30% chance to flinch the opponent. And if you happen to flinch them 3 times in a row, you're guaranteed its super weather form, a self-contained bolt of rippling electricity based on a transformer. This Pokemon's attacks are said to permanently paralyze anything they touch. But a psychic terrain will give you its Smoggy form, whose goggles are based on lab safety gear, and its body is as harmful as a failed experiment, as a single drop of its liquid form when consumed can cause insane psychedelic episodes that make fighting back simply impossible. And it channels this into its weather ball that has a 50% chance to confuse the foe. But if you think that's scary, its super weather form is far more terrifying, as it's a large smokestack that constantly pours a gaseous form of its mind-altering liquid into the air, affecting anyone who gets close. But we are still not done, as to get Super Castform's ultimate form, you'll have to take it to a power spot and expose it to a wishing star, which will cause it to transform into Gigantamax Castform, which has absorbed the power of the Dynamax clouds themselves, giving it access to all its form's weather-based abilities, as it simultaneously pours down a deluge of rain, blasts opponents with frozen wintry air, before reheating them with flames powered by the sun. It can strike down huge lightning bolts, fade away into the mist, inflict foes with psychedelic toxins, but worst of all, it can agitate their sensitivity to pollen. If you like this video, then you're definitely gonna like this video where I made a Super Eevee, because not only does it evolve into every single type, but all of its evolutions have mega evolutions. It's absolutely insane. Go check it out. As always, huge thank you to all the artists that brought today's Pokemon to life. They can all be found in the description, so make sure to go check them out. And I'll see you in the next video, but until then, peace.